3, 2, 1. It starts popping up. Yep.
Wonderful. So we love looking at these beautiful light opals. This is a really, really pretty pinfire pattern. It's pretty classic to get a little bit of sand, a little bit of an anomaly through the actual pinfire there. So you've got some beautiful green, and when I hold it up, you can sort of see it. You can actually see through it. It actually has little tiny bit of sand on the back. Again, we don't mind that. Look, that you can see with that one piece of sand, it goes right into the gem. That's why it's been left in there. Typically, sand like that will either be cut out or set around with the jewelry, because the jewelry does actually darken the actual opal when you actually set it in a piece of jewelry. But it's good classic light opal, beautiful, beautiful classic opal. And again, a little piece like this, well, it's not so little actually. You can see just by the scale of my finger, it's got some good size to it. So it would sit beautifully in a ring, beautifully in a pendant. Good classic oval shape, which is what we really want. But I love the translucency. I love how you can put some white gold in it and pick up the white, the metallic white, or you can put in yellow gold. Really will be affected by the beautiful backing of that gold. I love it how the gold shines through when you actually set them in gold. It really helps the gem a lot. Very different to a very thick piece like this one here, where you've got a lot of solidity. You've got big solid piece of white opal, big thick cabochon, large dome, which is the more desirable from a jeweler's perspective. So if you're a jeweler watching this and you're trying to find pieces, or even you want a piece that's going to be a lot stronger in a setting, the thicker the opal, the bigger the opal, the stronger the opal. So strength in an opal really is really affected by how thick it is. And this has got a beautiful high dome. You can see that one when I turn on its side there. A lot of surface area in that, but again, that beautiful green, the flowing colour. It's got that lovely mixed pattern, little bit of chaff, little bit of pinfire, a little bit of subtle aqua in there. Good classic light opal. Very, very large. In that one, it's got about 7 carats actually, 15 mils by 12, about 13 mils. So nice, good ring stone for a guy or a pendant setting. Amazing what you can do with this. A piece like this, the creativity is literally limitless. You can do so much with a nice big piece like that. It's really, really something. So we're going to go from light straight into the dark opal and just leapfrog right into, again, a semi transparent piece. So there's a little bit of translucency to this opal. Now you won't see that unless you hold it up to the light. You won't see the translucency. So that's why it's translucent as opposed to transparent. It's only translucent when you actually get some light behind it. If you can see that little bit of light coming through when I shone it there. But this is a very classic moss pattern. Beautiful green, beautiful aqua. It's a subtle pattern. It's more subdued. It doesn't pop out and leap out and grab you, but isn't that just so beautiful? It's a subtle beauty, which really allows you to design something really intricate and really elegant and really make it a part of an overall design, rather than just submitting the design to an incredible piece that just is like a blazing billboard, which some opals are. So beautiful subtlety. I love the little run of iron oxide flowing through that line there. I think it gives it a real personality, and I love the aqua blue glow. It's really pretty. So in that vein, now we are popping a bit backwards and forwards to light and dark, but I'll just compare this quickly. Look at how the body tones vary. Look at that. Isn't that something? You go literally from light right through to that dark body tone, and that's what opal does. Funnily enough, the opal in those is actually the same. The hydrated silica is actually identical, but it's actually the amount of oxide that gives it that grey body tone. So when you have the real darkness, it's only iron oxide getting there, which is technically an impurity. Okay, let's be blunt. It is bit different to the purity of a crystal opal, which is just pure hydrated silica. But look at the pattern on this. Don't you love how you've got some fiery green, the big blocky fern or leaf pattern, or those just big broad rolling flash blocks, and then you flow into those beautiful pinfire tones. I just love the complexity of this pattern. I love being able to see patterns overlaying other patterns. So you've actually got some pinfire, you've got some rolling flash, you've got some chaff, you've got a bit of fern leaf. It's just, the complexity inside these is really, really stunning. It's also pure. So this one is very much just colour. There's no sand, there's no real oxide in it. It's just a pure, fiery Australian Cooper Pedy opal. Really lovely, which is South Australia, which is where the Cooper Pedy comes from. Some of these are really just made for being set into rings, and I think this is one example. This is and the reason I say that is because it's just such a classic oval. Nice high dome. So when I say high dome, I mean that cabochon, that cut, which is a cabochon. Now, we've discussed this before in lives about where the term cabochon cut that actually originated from. It is a French word. It just means bald head, and that's really to allow the light to touch all of the areas of the opal, because opal does not require faceting for these colours to show. In fact, it's just reducing the surface viscosity through the polishing process just allows you to see it more clearly. Kind of like when you've got a window covered in dirt. If you remove all the dirt, shine up the window, then you can see what's inside a lot better. It's the same with an opal. We're not actually making the colour shine through our polishing process. We're just allowing you to see through the window more easily, and that's why we polish the opal to that glass finish. But having said that, some rough opals, they got incredible colour. It's right there. You can see it very, very obviously. So beautiful big gem. Because it's not full of packed rich colour, very, very affordable. Do a lovely big ring without paying the world. Same with this one here. Beautiful green moss, beautiful lovely green tone. Now we've got a lot of that iron oxide coming through into the surface of the opal, so you can actually see that in the surface. You got that green, that pinfire, that mossiness. You can actually see that when we can get the camera to focus on that. You can actually, there it goes. You can actually see the beautiful green mossiness and the ironstone. Again, subtle colour, deep glows that really reward you as you get to know the gem and get it in the right light. It really starts to actually show the beauty in those different lights. So it's a beautiful green, it's a lovely moss pattern, and again you've got that lovely iron oxide there, which is a signature of black opal. So anytime you see those grey or those black bars, it's really a signature. It says this is black Australian opal, which is kind of cool because you don't get those lines and those runs of grey or black in any of the fake material that I've ever seen. So it's a great little visual proof that it's actually a natural opal, which I kind of like. So you go from that. With this example here, the grey, the black, the oxide is still there, but can you see how the colour's becoming more pure? We've got that lovely, green moss pattern. It's more colour, there's colour right across it, and less of the oxide. So immediately the value spikes with a full, what we call a full face of colour, a broad face. It's really rich, it's intense colour and strong pattern. Now the green moss pattern, or the moss pattern, is probably the starting, let's be blunt, the entry level of patterns, okay? So it doesn't attract anywhere near the value of a harlequin pattern. So if that was green with harlequin pattern, it'd be 100 times more than this opal, because it's a sought after pattern and it's so incredibly rare. I think because the moss pattern is less pop, less wow, less extravagance, it gets less of a price, but that does not change its beauty, does not change how much we love it, does not change the accessibility of the opal. It makes it very, very accessible and very beautiful. And that's, again, a great thing to know if you're looking at trying to find a gem in a budget. You can actually go after some of those patterns that are less expensive than some of the really big hero patterns. So again, we've got a beautiful entry-level black opal. This one would sit in the dark category because its body tone is not as deep as it really, we would like it to be. But it's got some beautiful little greens there, again, little subtle opals. And a lot of opals are like these ones that I'm showing you. Little bit of colour, little bit of anomalies between the see-through areas and the opaque areas. It's actually quite normal. It's quite common to see. But even a little guy like this, I mean, come on, even this little guy is beautiful, and he's going to be set into something amazing. He's going to make someone very, very happy, and he's going to come into a pendant setting somewhere and just be really make someone's day, and someone's going to wear this for years and just enjoy, again, the complexity of the colour and the uniqueness and the originality of the pattern. So more green moss there. Now, if that little flash became a full face flash, again, the price would go through the roof. So we love the entry level gemstones. I'm popping backwards and forwards a bit from dark to light today, but look, it's a bit of fun, and it's worth just looking at every piece and really getting to know them, getting to know the individual characteristics of each of these opals. Here we go with another very classic Cooper Pedy white opal or light opal. Again, beautiful little mixed pattern, little bit of chaff, beautiful green, blue, aqua. This is the most common pattern for white opal. Some people call it chaff pattern because it looks like those bits of chaff when you're threshing the wheat on the floor, bits of the husk, bits of the stalk all churned up together, or more commonly known as just a mixed pattern. It's a bit of a mixture of everything. A mixed pattern is the most basic common pattern for opal. Doesn't make it any less beautiful, but it does bring down the price. Every mixed pattern opal is going to really be quite affordable, and again, nice, full of colour, no inclusions, a little bit of sand on the back there. You can see that the evidence of the carving there where the sand's been carved out, and nothing visible from the surface. You can't see any sand when you look at it. So it's what we call the face is clean. A lot of opals, when you actually do consider inclusions, a bit of an anomaly with opals that you actually do them visually. With diamonds, you actually have a grading system where the inclusions are judged on a 10 times loop. So the VS1, VS2, SI1 and 2, they're actually assessed using a 10 times loop, not with opal. With opal, you actually do everything visually. So actually, it's just the naked eye looking at the opal. Isn't that a funny little anomaly? It's very different to diamond, and I'm not sure why that happened. It's just probably because the miners in the outback, in the day, didn't actually walk around with loops, as opposed to the diamond traders that have always walked around with loops. It's probably just Australian tradition, but that is how we assess opals. We do it visually. We don't even use these bright lights. Actually, when you're looking at an opal, when you're assessing it, you should actually do it under just normal natural daylight. Here's another one from this collection of this little bit of the blackness there. So you remember what I said earlier, that lovely line of N1 black will immediately position this as a gem black opal immediately. You don't have to even doubt it for a second. It's got gem black opal written all over it because there's your signature. It's right there, and it's not taking away from the opal. In fact, it's adding a little bit of nuance. I would actually use that bit of black to actually really enhance the design. I'd use it to maybe wrap some diamonds around the other side that had the same shape. I'd really pick up the shape of that lovely black, and that's why it's been left there, because it's deep N1, and these are the little nuances that actually make black opals so individual and so specific. I love the individuality of this gemstone. It really is. They're like people, aren't they? Often when I'm cutting opals, I remind myself, we all start off dirty and covered in muck, and we all need to be refined. And life does a good job of grinding us into beauty. Oh, it's just my little fun little hack. So beautiful again. Little bit of oxide there showing. I believe this is a Minterby. I believe these are all from Minterby. They seem to be to Minterby from me, for my liking, with that little bit of mugginess on the back there, little bit of grey, little bit of black. I think that's where it's from, but if I had to guess, I'd say meant to be, but beautiful flashes of red starting to come through on this guy here. Lovely little bits of green. Again, beautiful full face colour. Now the thing that always astonishes me, and please correct me if anyone has any evidence to the contrary, okay? Any evidence, I'm open to comments and chats. But I've typically found with Opal, if you take any Australian Opal and take it over to Europe, particularly, this is where I found this, or America, Midwest America, especially some of the northern areas, you can effectively double the price to get to the normal retail. So what I'm taking is Australian retail prices are typically double in America. Now, I've been doing this since I was a kid, literally, and I've never had anyone contradict that. I've only had people confirm that. And the biggest example of increase is I have found examples where the prices in some environments are up to 4 times more the Australian retail prices, which is, I think it's worth it. I think Australian Opal is so cheap, even at the retail price, when you really compare it on the world stage. Now, I'm showing you a couple of these. These lovely white opals, look at the glowing blue in that. Isn't that just so spectacular? It's just glowing. Look at that. It's almost like it's an iridescent glow. Someone's put a torch inside that. I love the multiple jewelry pieces. When I say multiple, I mean a bracelet with 5 pieces, or a beautiful necklace with 20 opals on it. Oh, I really hope that they come back into fashion. In the 1920s and 30s, big ornate pieces were, really produced a lot more than today. But pieces like this is where you get multiples. So if you wanted to have a bracelet with, say, 4 pieces, you'd have to go after a type of opal like this, only because it's more likely that myself or any opal cutter or trader could find pieces that would match this type of opal. With a black opal, it's a lot harder, especially any specific unique gem color, like any reds on blacks or anything at all. Even a little guy like this, if you had just a pale blue, very pale, and wanted to match it, it gets really tricky. Now, fortunately, we've got enough opals to be able to undertake any matching exercises. So if you've got a pendant or a ring and you'd love an earring to match, we can give it a go. And we typically, with enough looking, we can find something to match. It tends to be achievable, but it does take time sometimes to find those pairs, find those matches. And believe me, there are times when I've gone through thousands of opals just to find something like an iridescent full face green flash, for example, which was probably the hardest one I ever had to match. Took me 2 years to find the green flash. Anyway, we got there. So here's another beautiful little bit of pinfire, florally pinfire, little bit of sand in the surface, but lovely glow. Very rewarding when you get that rolling flash glow. It really lights up. Beautiful. Now, everything I'm showing you here is in the affordable end of opals. They're not ridiculous prices, so they're great if you want colour and you don't want to spend, and your budget is you want something that you can afford. Now, having said that, we have got huge collections of the top gems, which we'll get to as well, but it's just fun just to take time going through each one of these. And look, again, here we go, a galaxy of colour from top to bottom, a little bit translucent, but look what happens when you get under that beautiful light. Look at the aquas and the greens and the hues. Aren't they stunning? Aren't they just so beautiful? Really rich colour, really stunning gem colour. It absolutely lights up the room, and it's going to look amazing in a pendant. We'd have to make sure we orient it. Now, if you've been watching for a while, you know that orient means that when you set it in a pendant, you have to work out where is the fire really coming from. And this one, I think you could safely say, I would orient it either way. It'll actually work in either of those vertical points. It really lights up. Here's a lovely little glow. We've got some beautiful little glow. I hope I can actually show you this this fire. Yep, there it is. Look at that blue aqua fire. Look at that. Isn't that just stunning? That little bit of blue aqua. I don't think it's easy to find that sort of aqua in any other gem. Maybe in the comments you can mention where you could find that lovely light aqua. Aqua is such a rare color in the gem world. Beautiful. Again, good classic gemstone, very easy to set, good cabochon to it. It's a beautiful little piece. Again, extremely affordable and eminently settable. Now what do we have here? Now this guy's a good classic moss pattern. So we've got beautiful blue-green moss on this. Lovely, stable color. This one's not going to jump out and grab you and say, look at me, look at me. This is just a nice, subtle blue. We love it because it's subtle, and sometimes we just love the subtlety because if you put a big, thick platinum bezel around that with a lovely bow, amazing. For a men's ring, amazing. Sit beautifully. It's understated, but then it rewards you. Gets in there and shows you the detail. Oh, I could do this all day. This is just too much fun. Are you having fun? I'm having so much fun showing you these opals. I'm so glad that we deal with this amazing gemstone. Aren't you just so excited to see this gem live, to have all this time to explore these gemstones? Are you excited as I am? I hope so, because this is actually making my day. I've got to stop now because I'm being flagged that we've run out of time, but I want to do this again. Please come and join me again and we'll just do this again, shall we? Look forward to it. See you next time.